Yes, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are calling from. Welcome to today's live session. I want to say you are specially welcome. I am glad to have you here. So today we'll be going right away with our topic for today, from criticism to compassion. Criticism to compassion. So really it's about understanding people's story, the story behind their struggles. Why are you struggling? Yes, so we'll find out that criticism usually is when you is a situation where you indicate the fault of someone in a disapproving way. Yes. So it's like attacking someone. Excuse me, please. So criticism is an act of attacking someone. You are coming in an attacking mood, like why this, So in that way, you are disapproving of the person's behavior, but it's just the context at which uh you want to deliver correction. It can be in a very harsh way, or in a very it can even, it may possibly not really harsh, but the terms used can actually take the person back to his or her own shell. So, and compassion, of course, we know is the concern, a deep concern and motivation to want to help someone, want to improve a situation. You are like, how best do I improve, or how do I help you? Yes, so that's motivation and concern to want to help is what we call compassion. Yes. So firstly we have to know that everyone has a story. Yes, everyone has a story. Your story is different from mine, and God made it so. We are all unique in our own ways, and God chooses to place us, as we've learned earlier, that our background is not a mistake. God placed you there for a purpose. We've been able to establish that from last week live session. That accept your background. It is all part of the process which God wants to use to prune you. So accept it. And now, when I say this story, so your story is actually an account of your past, of a past event that happened to you. It's just an account of, oh, at this point, so and so happened to me. So that chronology of the events that happened, that's what form your story. So we find out that yes, because we're talking of dysfunctional family background setting now, because of that type of setting, we find out that yes, most people are wounded. And if you dare to know, you will know. If you are concerned about knowing, oh, why are you reacting like this, you tend to, if you dare to ask. Yes, we've also talked about not assuming, but ask, what happened, why are you reacting like this? So we see that sometimes we use phrases like, why do you react to everything, or you are too sensitive, or stop acting like a child. So whenever we use those phrases, you should know that yes, beyond words, you are you need to dig back to what happened to that person. So somebody that is overreacting, why is this person overreacting? Somebody has been taken advantage of in the past, in trying to recover what you think lost. You may tend to overreact. You may tend to want to display some form of control, like I can be in control, I'm in charge. So these are just background information we need. Or you say you don't know how to talk. You tell somebody you don't know how to talk, and we have to know that yes, It is the emotional tool that was supplied to you that you will, as a child, that's what you grew up with, and that's what you will act on. If you were taught, if you were not taught how to manage conflict, that kind of person will not know how to resolve conflict growing up. So when you say somebody talk too much, why? There is a reason. Trace it back. Possibly maybe this person is growing up. Everybody tell you you are too quiet, you are too calm. Why do you talk too much? Something like that. Or it can just be on the positive side. It could be the personality of that child. So we should dare to know. Or you're telling someone you are too suspicious. Somebody that has been bitten by a snake before, that person will if you've ever been bitten by a snake, when you see a lizard, it will look like a snake, because you don't want a second bite. So in that way, we find out that, yes, that you now tend to be suspicious. What's happening? Why are you sorry, excuse me. Thank you. So you tend to be suspicious. You're like, why are you acting like this? Why are you suspicious? Or why are you feeling insecure? We've seen ladies that they are struggling with trust. They just can't trust. Oh, possibly you are a lady, you saw how your father left your mother, and you're just like, huh? Men. Can we even trust men? Huh? Men has come again. Men, it can actually deter trust. So when a lady is finding you are in a relationship with a lady and she's finding it difficult to trust you, she keep asking you, do you love me? Do you really love me? Do you really, 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 really love me? No, you should know that, yes, that person is struggling with trust. best and how to achieve this. Or when you tell somebody you are too emotional, you are too hard, or you are too lenient with your parenting style, it's easier to just tell someone, why are you so, yeah, anything your child wants, you just give your child. Possibly that person came from a background where they lacked, they had lack, they experienced lack. So that person has said, no, my children will not suffer. Or the other person, so it's, see, life is different. We all came from a different setting. So that is why we say, don't judge people if you have not been in their own shoe. If you have not walked their paths, you don't have what it takes to judge them. That is why the person of Jesus is the perfect person. That is why the Bible call him the perfect judge. He's the one that we judge. Why? Because he was 100% human and 100% God. So at this point, he knows what it feels to be a human. He knows what it feels. He knows what it feels to be hungry. Bible says he was led to the wilderness and he was hungry. So somebody that has felt hunger before, we know how it, he can relate with your struggles. That's why the Bible said that we don't have an high priest who is not touched by the feeling of our infirmities. So excuse me. So it's so good to know that yes, we have a God who feels, who knows, who can see us. Yes. So you are not alone. You have a God who can see. And that it is that same way we also need to extend grace to one another. You need to say, okay, can I know your story and know how to help you? So it's very, very important. Or sometimes we just see singles and you say, why are you still single? What's the problem? There's a way you say it. You're not married yet. Somehow, you don't know what has happened to that person. Some people are afraid of getting married. The gamophobia kind of that syndrome called gamophobia. You're afraid of getting married. You've seen marriage in its horrible state, and you're like, this thing called marriage, I don't think so. Even the disciples, at a time, they felt that way. When Jesus gave them the condition of how marriage should be, at a time they say, if that's the case, then nobody should marry. Marriage is for the super perfect people. You understand? So that kind of scenario can actually make someone afraid of getting married. So let's not undermine the way people feel. Validate their feelings. Yes, we need to validate one another's feelings. So for instance, we'll see also that until you understand the story, you will misjudge the struggles. Until you understand the story, you will misjudge the struggles. If you don't know, you don't know. If you can't relate, you can't relate. I want you to be happy to, like, get confident telling your story. Don't be ashamed of your story. Yes, don't be ashamed of your story. So don't be ashamed of your story. Yes, I want you to know that don't be ashamed to tell your story. It is your story. Own your story. Your experience is your greatest advantage. Your experience, and what God says about you. Those two things, nobody can take it away from you. It is what it is. Nobody went through that journey. You did yourself, and you can say, okay, yes, this is how it is with me. So let's try to understand people, know where they are coming from. When you misjudge their struggle, you will reinforce the cycle. Like we've established, we've seen cases where people will say, I didn't do this thing, and you say, you did it, or you just come to someone very hard. You will reinforce that cycle. The person will just like, okay, and then let me do it, so that I will just see, let me do it, and so let's learn to so the word here is be patient enough to understand what happened to this person before passing judgment. I believe I can be seen and I can be heard. I hope I can be seen and I can be heard. So people should, so sorry, these are common assumptions that people normally say. You say, people should know better by now. You should know better. Why are you behaving like this at this age? You're just still behaving like this. That's a costly assumption. Understanding does not come with age. You go and ask Job say, when Job's friend came, he said, I thought understanding is by age, so you people don't understand. Yes, so it's not a function of age. It's just a function of the environment we find ourselves, the emotional tools that were supplied to us while growing up. So that's what makes the difference. That's why the Bible says time and chance happen to them all. It's not the same for everyone. It is time and chance. So you that came from a seemingly good family, everything okay, all right. Oh, I bless God for you. Beautiful. That's your story. Own it. And the person that came from the other part, that's the opposite side, it's their own story. Let's learn to appreciate where people are coming from, their background. Don't disdain anybody background. And if you see through scripture, you see that it okay. So when we talk about dysfunctionality, you say, Christian, how can you be talking about dysfunctionality? Go and check through scriptures now. The people that God used, they were from dysfunctional background. So somebody like Rahab, why do you think you want to include the person of the Messiah, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, and you are calling a prostitute on the list? She was not worthy. And you don't know what happened that led to that. So we've seen teenagers suffering from different kind of labels, and we don't care to know what exposed. How did this child got exposed to this lifestyle? What happened? Where did you learn it? How did it happen? So we should care to know. You don't just stay and say, this or this one is useless, so it's good for nothing. No, nobody is good for nothing. Where did it start from? Where was the origin of this problem? So you see a child misbehaving, you see a child behaving in a certain way, don't be quick to label that child. The child is an addict, is addicted to one thing or the other. Where did this start from? What are the exposure, the environment where that child is? Also, for instance, a child whose parents are taking alcohol, and that child start taking alcohol, and you say, this one is, you that don't know the story, you just come from somewhere and say, this one is an alcoholic. You just tempt the person, but you don't know. So when you get to know that, oh, this is where this person is coming from, you will be more prone to extend grace. So understanding begins when you remember human weaknesses, not human perfection. We are first human being before human doing. People are looking for perfection everywhere. And even God is not looking at us like that. That is why he said in the book of Isaiah 1 verse 18, he said, come, let us reason together. Let's talk about it. Let's reason this thing now. He said, even though your sin is as red as scarlet, come, I will still make it white as snow. Come, let's talk. Let me know what's happening to you. Let us reason. So if the King of Kings, if God himself can come to our level to say, let us reason together, how much more we human, you a fellow human. The Bible said that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We've all partake of one dysfunction or the other, and mercy found us. So when mercy and grace has found you, you cannot, you are not, it does not guarantee you to not start judging others. That's why the Bible says, forgive as I've forgiven you. You understand? So we must learn to know that, yes, you don't expect people to know everything. I've heard where they will say, at your age, so you are still behaving like this, and you should know by now. But you are a Christian. That's another blackmail. You are a Christian. How can you be talking like this? A Christian does not mean the person is not prone to mistake. You see that scripture even make provision for our mistake. He said Christ has forgiven us. He said, but if you sin, in the book of First John, he said, if you sin, we have Jesus Christ, who is the mediator, who is the propitiation of our sin. He is the one that will, is the one that will take us back to it. So that means there's a if. You see that God even make allowances for our there's an allowance to say, okay, in case peradventure But yet, you, a fellow human, you want perfection everywhere. No, no error. Just be doing everything good, good, good. No. So we must give room for people to express themselves and to grow. Yes, like we said, growth is not a function of age. It's not a function of you are how many years now? So you mean you don't know this at this age? It's not a function of age. Or something like, I must speak my mind immediately. Something happened, you want to pour it all out. Dare to understand, why did this person behave like this? Listening is the first act of compassion. You have to listen to the person. Okay, tell me what happened. Tell me, why did you behave like this? So when you listen, it's it helps you in understanding the why behind the action. Okay, now I understand. You understand? So it's so you are not, because it's easier to judge when you are not the victim. When you are the so-called the pope. You are the righteous one. It's easier to just pass judgment and say, why did you do like this? It's very easy. But just like David, when Nathan confronted David and said, see, he came with a parable and painted a scenario. And the first thing David did was, who did that? That person that did that thing, that person will die and he will restore fourfold. Just like that. So you see that David was quick to act. He want to say all his mind, not considering that we are all product of grace. So you understand. So why am I saying this? We've seen cases, spouses are married, you just feel my spouse is behaving like this, and now there's another subtle way. You say, she does not love you, or he does not love you. If he love you, he will not be behaving like that. It's not because the person does not love you. It is the emotional tool that was supplied to that person growing up. It is just the way the person know how to act. So we now sum it up. If she just tell you like this, how he tell you, like, you just know that I don't love you. So my message here is extend grace. Extend grace and compassion. So we must not expose or correct immediately. There should be room to say, okay, when and where should I come in, to help. Love covers a multitude of sin, as we have seen in the scripture. Love will cover a multitude of sin. So the fact that you saw it, hey, let me just say it now. In fact, some of us will say, let me say it now before I will forget. Let me just do it now before I don't want to, that punishment I want to give, that judgment I want to give, let me say it now, because by the time it passed this time now, I can't remember again. Let me just do it now. So let's know that, yes, we are all products of grace. That's my message today. Or sometimes we feel there's another subtle one where you feel, don't be quiet. You may need to be harsh. You need to be very, very harsh. If you're not harsh, people will take you for granted though. Harshness make people behave better. Some people want to get married and they will advise them, no, don't be quiet for a woman. Or if you're quiet for a woman, that means you're a fool. When you are harsh, they will know that so we not feel harshness is what will bring out the best in people. When you show them that you are like this, they will learn their lesson. No, it doesn't work from somebody that is broken. Hey, not with a broken person. Not with a broken person. Healing enters the heart through gentle words. The Bible says a soft and a gentle answer. That's what will touch the heart. That's what will heal the heart. So it's not by giving basbos. You give me here, I give you there. You match I match my energy with what you give to me. No, it's not like that. So, or some people say, sometimes you get a point where you feel, people don't deserve kindness. No, people don't deserve kindness. No. So the more broken a person is, the more kind or the more tender you need to be to that person. The more broken a person is, the more tender you need to be to that person. So extend grace. Extend grace. We brought a message of grace. Great grace. So I've talked about matching energy. That's the only option. When he give you like this, you give him like that. How can he talk to you like this? You give him like that, you know. So it looks as if that's the best thing to do. And we've seen cases where there are domestic violence, where you just feel, in fact, before you got married, they've advised you, hey, woman, don't, or like this, just give her like this, give her like this. So let's just be mindful of how we match energy, because somebody that is already wounded, you are now it's not a good thing. And what God has come to, what the love of Christ has done to us, is to show us mercy, compassion, grace, forgiveness, tenderness, kindness. That's what Christ has brought. That's the message Christ has brought to us. So know that your softness is not weakness. Yes, the fact that you want to be soft and tender with this person, don't think is a weakness. And the society has a way of making you feel as if, hey, you are the weak one. How can you take that? Me, I can't take that. Oh, nobody tell me like that. Nobody talk to me like that. So understand. So what we're bringing to the table now, beyond your family, even your work life, you see that you have colleagues at work who will behave in a certain way, and you just like, how, why is this person behaving? Yes, this background, where the person is coming from, this and this is what has played out in the past. Yeah, so just that understanding will help relationship. It will help us live. It will make the society beautiful again. So for instance, we saw that in the book of John chapter 8, the woman that was caught excuse me, the woman that was caught in the act of adultery. When they brought that woman, they brought her like, look at this woman. She was caught in the act, in the very act. And Jesus did not just reply. He just did as if he didn't hear them. And they were still poking him. Like scripture said, they want to hear what Jesus have to say about that matter. And Jesus now wrote on the floor that if you know you've not committed any sin, be the first to cast the stone. Convicted by their own conscience, they went one by one, beginning from the elders to the last, one by one. So the thing is, before you judge people, that's why the Bible says, judge not, so that you yourself, you will not be judged. And the Bible also mentioned that remove the one in your eyes first, so that you will see clearly to remove the one in the other person's eyes. You understand? So you have a log in your eyes, you've not removed. You have a plank in your eyes, you've not removed it. You want to remove somebody's. So let's know that yes, we are all coming from. I think the message of salvation sums it up. That yes, all have sinned. So there's no righteousness, no self-righteousness in this matter. All have sinned and fallen short. So you are just a product of grace. You are just an extension of God's grace and mercy. So we must learn to adopt that. And Jesus lifted up his eyes when he saw the woman. He said, where are your accusers? Where are your accusers? He said, no man condemn you. That was Jesus' question. So no man condemn you. She said, no, my Lord. And he said, neither do I condemn you. Go and say no more. So you see what Jesus did there. You could see the compassion. So that's why wisdom is the principal thing. The wisdom on how to, because the aim is you want to revive that person back. You don't want to lose that person. So because most times people are quick to judge someone from a dysfunctional background. How can you behave like this? Why are you behaving like this? You don't know. Okay, if you you don't know what it feels like to come from a home that is broken. You've not been there, so you can't judge. You can't tell. You've not know what it feels like when your parents did not stay together, or were not married. You just find yourself somehow. You don't know how it feels like. So where you grew up from a home where there's constant conflict, you've not been in that shoe. So please, let's not judge. So you see, the people, they assess themselves and they assess their conscience and say, we've all seen, we've all done one or two. So this is it. Sometimes what is yours, the most times we react because possibly that is not your weakness, and maybe that's your strength. So when you see the person behaving, displaying something that is not, that is your strength, you are quick to, how can you say that? You are quick to react because you know that that's not your Achilles heel, that's your major strength. But when the thing called strength and weakness, it differs. So you may be strong in this aspect, the other person may be strong in the other aspect. So let us learn to extend grace. So Jesus said, even me myself, I do not condemn you. So the person that Jesus do not condemn, who are you to condemn who God did not condemn? Yes. Who are you to say this person is from a dysfunctional home? We've seen cases where ladies want to innocently get married. They will go and say, hey, this girl that is from this background now, are you sure people from this place, they don't stay in marriage? People from this place, they don't make good home. You know, you just label people. So let us know that yes, we are all product of time and chance. That is what happened to us. Just like the blind man, he said nobody seen that this man was born blind. So nobody seen. So let's be mindful. So see Jesus here saying, me myself, I did not condemn you. I understand that life happens. Or let me use the woman at the Samaritan woman at the well. The Samaritan woman, when she came, had an encounter with Jesus. When Jesus said, go and call your husband, she said, I don't have a husband. In fact, the one I have at home, it's not even my husband. This woman has met with 5 different men. That was a scar. That was a deep scar. You see, Jesus said, okay, say you are telling the truth. So, but this woman, you see that the way Jesus presented it to her, she could not see shame. She could see love. She could perceive love. Even the Messiah did not condemn me. The Messiah did not condemn me. And that thing fell, that shame fell off her. She ran out to say, come and see a man who told me all that I've ever been. And maybe they will now ask her, what have you been? You say, me, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Unashamedly, she was able to say it because she has found her healing. So the way we confront people will determine whether they will be healed or they will be more broken. You understand? So let's not be the source of brokenness to others. Behind every harsh tone, every overreaction, every emotional shutdown, perfectionism, people pleasing, know that yes, this person is coming from somewhere. And like I said, it is the emotional tool, like healthy communication, emotional regulation, vulnerability, empathy, secure love. These things are tools that we are not all exposed to at different times. Some are privileged to have um, a large number of these, but some are not. So we don't have to condemn those people. And some people say, this person is from this home. I would not marry from that kind of home. So let the dysfunctional people not go and marry dysfunctional. So the dysfunctional people should just marry themselves. Then let the good people just, you understand? So what am I trying to say? God is calling us to extend grace and not to judge others. So what is the impact of criticism? Anybody you criticize, what happens is you will trigger, either you will trigger shame, or the person will just shut down learning. Like, okay, so when you criticize the person, you are taking the person down memory lane. And for instance, somebody that the father called you as useless as your mother, and you marry this person, you're not saying you and your useless family. What you are doing is you will trigger shame. The person will just like, after all, they say nothing good can come from me. So the person will now become more shameful. The person and the fact is, the person cannot even learn. It's as if you shut down every aspect of that person to want to learn. That's why the Bible says, speak the truth in love. Speak the truth in love. Let love guide our conversation. It said reactive wound, which so somehow we see that yes, the person will want to be reactive. You want to, instead of responding, you want to react. The person, so that's the impact. The person want to react, want to protect it, want to protect himself. But sometimes some people feel, people have taken advantage of me so much. I need to. So it's even the way the person will even, the rate at which the person will learn will be deterred, because the person is just on the reactive side of life. Is not willing to learn, not willing to grow. You understand? So in that way, the person, so now you've not seen somebody that is able to touch that part of it, that is able to nail this behavior. So, oh, I think this was where it started from. You understand? Or, and it also block connection. When you criticize somebody, you, in fact, as you're criticizing the person, there's already a wall already. It's as if you are not fit to talk to me on this matter. You don't understand me. You don't understand me. So please, you don't understand, just leave it like that. And where there is no connection, you can't correct. You need to connect in order to correct. So it blocks connection and it breeds comparison. Criticism. Criticism breeds comparison. You criticize this person, therefore you must see someone. And don't you see how this person used to do it? And this one, don't you see how this one used to do it? So at the end of the day, it's as if you are compounding that person's problem, especially for an adult. You've experienced this all your years, and coming to adulthood, people are still giving you that vibes because possibly you've not healed and they don't understand where you are coming from. So it really can hurt. So let's learn the way of compassion. So compassion will help you to seek for clarity. You understand? If, for instance, you say, what do you mean? You can ask, what do you mean? Or what happened to you? Instead of what is wrong with you. So you see that that's it. That's two different things. Now, what is wrong with you is different from what happened to you. So this is a subtle way we want to know, we want to dig deep into the story. Okay, the person will not tell you, and this happened. Yes, you've opened a line of communication for the person to express himself. But when you say what is wrong with you, you've touched a part of that person that is, so that's the person will want to object you first for saying that word wrong. Possibly is a language that person have been hearing all along the line, and now you're still coming to say what is wrong with you. That's already a trigger, and the person will want to put up defensive mechanism. Like, that's why you say you can't correct. Or you can also say, I validate your struggle. You understand? So when we're saying you should compare is, you don't judge or you don't criticize. We're not saying that you should not approve of the misbehavior. We're not saying you should say everything you're doing is good, or hey, everything is good, 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 good. No, that's not what we're saying. We are saying here that yes, I understand, I validate your feelings that this was the reason why you did this, but this thing is not good. You understand? There's a difference when you put yourself in that person's shoe. That, oh, I understand. Okay, I know if I'm also from this background, maybe I wouldn't have known better. You understand? So you not put yourself in that. That's where empathy comes to play. We must be empathic to say, okay, let me now flip the card. Okay, let me now put myself in this person's shoe. Okay, what if I'm the one that came from this kind of setting? How would I have behaved? What would have become of me? You understand? So, and that will influence the way you will approach that issue. Or, so we've also seen cases where people will say, I'm looking for who will love me for who I am. I'm just looking for somebody that will just love me for who I am. No. Yes. Jesus will say, come just as you are, but you can't remain as you are. You understand? So, in as much as you are looking for somebody that will love you as you are, that does not mean you have to remain as you are. So that is where we need to walk the journey. You met this person like this, you have to leave the person in a better state. Yes. So we're not saying that, just in a bit to still say, we're not saying the person should just remain like that. Yeah. So in the fact that you are validating the person's struggle, You understand? Does not mean the person has to remain like that. So love will cause you to grow. Yes, we grow in love. So seek to know the root cause, not the surface reaction. You understand? Dare to ask, what fear is driving this reaction? This reaction that you are presenting, what fear? What happened to you? You understand? So let's dare to ask. Let's seek to understand. Yes, yes, yes. I believe we are getting value for it. Yes. So seek to know the root cause, like I said, not the surface reaction. So, for instance, you say, okay, what do you need to express? Because sometimes when the person feel I've not expressed all that I need to express, the person can react in that way. So allow the person to express themselves. So practically, as a family, you want to practically how you go about things like this. You can do a weekly family check-in, or you can do a what went well kind of www kind of thing. Okay, so can you tell us what went well this week? Who hurt who this week? Especially the children. I love the sincerity of children. They will tell you, this one did this to me, this one did that to me. Yes. So you understand? So they will say it, say what happened. So, and what do we need to improve? So we need to be compassionate. God is calling us to be compassionate. So we've been able to establish that. Yes, to be a compassionate family, you need to listen before reacting. Active listening before reacting. Sometimes when somebody is talking, you already something just tell you, I know where you are going to, I already know where you are going to. You've concluded already. You've already formed an opinion in your mind that this is what you want to say. This is where it's going to. No. Let us listen before reacting. Another thing is to understand before judging. Understand the story. Okay, what happened? You understand? Even practically, we do this with our children. You ask what happened. This person will say this thing happened. This one will say this one happened. Then you can answer, okay, next time don't do it like this. So dare to understand. So we've seen cases where people will just say, in the medical profession, we see a lot. You just see someone say, this disease that I have, especially if it's a sexual, give it to every man, everybody that I see. I'm going to spread it everywhere. That person is speaking from the place of pain, deep pain. It's easier to just look at that person and say, you are wicked, oh, wicked person. You are so wicked. How can you say that? But dig deeply, dare to know the story. Possibly this person was a virgin. Maybe she was raped. She was raped. In that way, she contracted the disease, or maybe she was not even pregnant in the process. And so it can really be a lot. The story can be so horrible and messed up. You understand? And when okay, so the story is mixed up, but now you are seeing the reaction. You're only seeing the reaction, so you are judging just the reaction. You didn't know what happened. So that is why we should seek to understand. Can you tell me what happened? And the best person to tell their story is the person yourself. Most times we go to what ask other people, hey, tell me what happened. Here, I yes say, I yes, this yes say, yes say, I yes say, I yes. You can't you just call the person and confront the person? I say, this and this and this and this was what I heard. You understand? So this I yes say, I yes say. You judge people based on what you've heard. You gather a lot of information and you just pass judgment on the person. Sometimes we'll see in a workplace, somebody new is around that particular setting, trying to find this way around things. And you just tag the person and everybody start treating the person in that particular way. You understand? So seek to understand what is happening. Understanding will help our journey and heal instead of repeating. Yeah. So we are not, like we said, we are not here to validate your we are here to validate your feelings, but not here to say you have to continue the pattern. Hey, because you came from this kind of family background now. So that's just how it will be. No, that's not how it will be. There is room for growth, there is room for healing. And that's why Wholesome Family Solution is here to let you know that you can become the healthy branch in your family tree, you can become the healthy one. So the fact that yes, you were, so the thing with healing is a two-way thing. Even you as the judge, or do you want you the person that want to criticize somebody, if you have not healed, and that's why they say if you don't, if you have not healed, don't teach. If you have not healed, you are not in the good position to correct you, or else you will speak from the place of your pain. You will bleed on the people that did not even hurt you. You understand? You will just pick, you will be quick. So imagine an unhealed person judging other people. You understand? So that is why heal, so you don't repeat the cycle of hurt and pain. Create safety instead of fear. Create safety instead of fear. Build legacy instead of trauma. So we are here to let you know. So through this uh live session, one major attribute is calling us into is patience. Be patient enough to listen to people's story, to know the why behind their action. Why is this person behaving like this? What can I do to support this person? You are not emotionally aware that, oh, okay, now understand that this thing is this person, this particular behavior is this person's challenge. How do I help this person? And you are not seeking understanding. So you see that, yeah, so because life, we are meant to be in a community of growth, not to judge one another. They say offing your neighbor's candle will not make your own shine brighter. When you off somebody's candle, you talk bad about the person everywhere, you broadcast the person everywhere. This some bad character. Their family self, they are not even good. All these people, they are just useless people in their family. You just broadcast, and you don't dare to support the person, to say, I understand it. So for instance, imagine a teenager who does not have a good environment, of like the ideal family environment. That kind of child needs support, and that is where my heart usually go for school evangelism, because those children, they need support. They are struggling with their academics. They are struggling to understand their identity. They are struggling to understand their hormones. Many things are playing out at the same time, and they need to be successful in their academics. It's a whole lot in the life of a teenager. So let's not be quick to judge and say, this person, this is just how this person is. Let's extend grace. Know that, yes, possibly it was the way you were. Extend grace and love. Thank you so much for your time. Is there any question we need to shoot now? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? So we've seen that, yes, as a recap, we've seen that, yes, don't judge people, don't criticize, have compassion. Every miracle that Jesus did came from the place of compassion. Compassion, like, oh, what if I'm the one that is like this? What if I'm the one that is lame? What if I'm the one that is blind? What if I'm the one that is, so Jesus could just put himself in that situation and say, no, this is painful. For instance, when he was in the grave of Lazarus, Jesus could not, not that he lacked the power to raise Lazarus, but when he saw Mary and Martha crying, the Bible says Jesus wept. Jesus wept. So that means, yes, we need to feel for that feelings first, not just what you want to give to the person, not just what you need to partake of how the person feels. Oh, how do you feel? So the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. I want to thank you so much for joining in. This is Awesome Family Solution. I am Akpesiri Okolocha. I remain your Wholesome Family Solution provider. Please, I want you to like, share, and comment across all our platforms. And if you've not joined our community, please do well to join in our WhatsApp community, where we do it on a one-on-one level. Please join the WhatsApp community. We also have a clarity call, 30 minutes clarity call, and a one-to-one consultation. So all of these we are here for you. We are here to listen to you. We are here to hear you. Thank you so much for your time. I believe you've gained value for today's program. Let's do this again, same time next week, Thursday. See you. Bye, everyone. Have a blessed week.